So there are certain technical considerations when we are developing our mobile app. So what are these are technical considerations. Let us see them one by one. First of all, the application will work on multiple hardware, or it has to be tailored so that it can be made to work on different hardware and different software, because varied system, varied devices will have very different kind of configuration. There are different development framework and the programming language. For example, currently we have Java, Objective-C, C#. These are the languages. And you might have heard about Android Studio. So there are popular development framework like Android, iOS, BlackBerry, Windows, and Symbian. So mobile app developers, they don't buy a mobile and check. They use the emulators that work on their or that run on their desktop development system. So emulator is you develop an app and then try to run it on the emulator. For example, Samsung Galaxy or iOS, whichever is there. But most of the time, the emulators on which you actually check is limited because it is just reflecting that device. It is not the actual device. While in actual scenario, things may change. Mobile, always, most of the time, we use the thin client applications. You cannot have a big software, say all the configuration, the database, networking, everything cannot be, persistent storage cannot be on your app. So it has to have a thin client. So when the thick client or fat client we are talking about, all the interaction responses are happening in the software itself or the app itself. But we cannot afford to have a thick client on a mobile. You need to have a thin client. Only interaction will be there. The background services will all be provided by the server or the different kind of server. I'll just talk about that. Various app stores are there, like the Android Play Store, iOS Store. So these are app stores with different rules and tools. Every mobile platform has its own app store, and they have their own standards. How to accept the apps. For example, the Apple, the Google, the RIM, the Microsoft, the Nokia, they publish their own standard. So whenever you are developing a mobile app for multiple platforms, you need an expert for it, standard expert. And the mobile apps are always developed in short development cycles. You cannot have a like software for 1 or 2 years. So generally agile development process is used. Because user interface is very important. There is some limitation, there are some complexities of interaction with the sensors and cameras. The screen is small and there are rich interaction possibilities. You can, interact with your mobile using your voice, touch, gesture, eye tracking. Effective use of context. Again, talking about user interface design, there is context-aware application. Context-aware is going to personalize the user experience. Whatever user experience or user want, the context-aware applications have to be developed so that they understand what the user want or what is his choice or her choice. The user will say, oh, this is what I wanted. And this is the context-aware application. Power management, battery is limited. So battery life is the most limiting constraint in any mobile app you are talking about. Okay. So now the battery have increased. It works for a whole day if you are doing everything. Sometimes backlighting, reading and writing to memory, you are using wireless connection, you are using GPS, you are making use of specialized hardware, you are gaming, the processor speed. All these are impacting the power management, power usage. So now you have to have your thoughts about how to save the battery life. And while you are working on mobile, the security and privacy models and policies are there. That is, there may be people who can eavesdrop. There may be people who work as man in the middle and they may attack. And this is very critical to the safety. So if your mobile is lost, then the data can be taken, or the malicious app you have downloaded, it can take your all content data, because right now we are paying, we are doing all kind of work where? in your mobile app. Okay, right. Computational and storage limitations. Mobile is very small. So the computational power, you cannot enhance it to the level you have workstations, etc. And the storage is also limited. You can have 32 GB, 64 GB, 128 GB, but you cannot have terabytes. Maybe later it is possible. But using mobile devices to control home environment and security devices has increased the computational and storage expectancy or requirement. You are handling everything from your mobile now. You need to be very sure how computationally expensive or the storage this app is requiring. Sometimes even the information, for example, you are taking pictures, you are taking videos. So these are the extent of volume of information. So the mobile device may overwhelm with respect to the storage, with respect to the processing speed or the power being consumed. So again, I'm saying if you're playing games or making videos or doing every work on your mobile, computation and storage is always a restriction. Application that depends on external services. So as I said, whenever you are building a mobile app, it will be a thin client most of the time. So it will depend on what? Because it is just thin client. So it will depend on web service providers and cloud storage facilities. And since the data and service is required, what is the accessibility and what is the security? So these are the concerns which has increased. And as a developer, you have to be very sure that you have this concern while making a mobile application, even if you are trained or not trained. Testing complexity. What happens? Because you are making a thin client. Now everything will be done on the back end, not on the front end. So you have to have a transmission of data. It can go through internet gateways or telephone networks. So what is the complexity here? You have to test the complexity also.